Scanning for audio.
Welcome to the third of Book Week here at the Tin Dog Podcast. This time talking about Doctor Who and the Shining Man. That's what it says in the press release. It just says The Shining Man on the front. But it's nice that we've gone old school on the press release. The Doctor is back in a brand new thrilling adventure starring the 12th Doctor and Bill, played by Peter Capaldi and Pearl Mackie. Published on the 20th of April 2017, it's a small hardback at $6.99. Here's the synopsis. The Shining Men are everywhere. You spot them out of the corner of your eye, abnormally tall, with long, lank hair, blank faces, blazing eyes. If they catch you, they'll drag you away to who knows where. No one is safe. They're on every street corner, waiting, watching, shining bright. Of course it's a hoax. It had better be, right? It started as a joke, a prank for Halloween. Then it went viral. Idiots dressing up as monsters, giving folks a scare, silly masks and fright wigs. No one gets hurt, because bogeymen aren't real. Until people start going missing and lights burn in the darkness, burning like eyes. But help is on its way, in the form of a strange man called the Doctor and his friend, Bill. The Doctor will keep us safe. The Doctor will stop the monsters, unless the monsters stop the Doctor first. We all know how much work Cavan Scott's been producing for us in the exciting world of Doctor Who and beyond. I'm pointing at you, Star Wars and Warhammer 40k, as well as his work with Mark Wright. And this is yet another brilliant example of some fantastic work. Chapter 1, Making It Up. Mom. Sam Holland was barely through the front door before her son ran the length of the hallway and threw his arms around her. "Hey, what's all this?" she said, prizing Noah away from her waist, and dropping down to look into his puffy eyes. She wiped a tear from his cheek. "Whatever's happened?" Noah was 8 and short for his age, with a freckled face, chipmunk-like cheeks, and a mop of curly brown hair. He sniffed, wiping snot on the back of his hand. "It jumped out at me, Frankie. It was horrible." Sam frowned. "What did? What are you talking about?" "He's making it up," came a voice from the lounge. Sammy looked across the hall. Through the lounge door, she could see her daughter draped over the sofa. 10, going on 18. Maisie took after her father, more's the pity. The two children couldn't have been more different. While Noah was short, Maisie was long and willowy. Her shoulder-length hair, poker straight, and so dark it was almost black. The temperaments were just as distinct. Noah was the quintessential mummy's boy, always looking for a hug, while Maisie was becoming a thoroughly independent miss, desperate to grow up. She was all about makeup, celebrity gossip, and being glued to her mobile phone 24/7. "Making up what?" Sammy asked. "Will someone tell me what's been going on? Why's your brother so upset?" "Is that you, love?" a woman's voice called out from the back of the house. "I'm glad you're home." "Mum?" Dropping her handbag by the door, Sammy scooped up Noah into her arms and carried him through into the kitchen, his tears running down her neck. Her mum was in the utility room, piling wet clothes into the tumble dryer. Sammy didn't know how she'd manage without her. She'd retired early, giving up her job at the local co-op to help look after the kids. She picked them up from school every day, giving them their tea, so Sammy didn't have to rush home early from work. Of course, Sammy had told her time and time again she didn't have to do the laundry, but Hilary Walsh was not the kind of woman who took no for an answer, or put up with nonsense from her grandkids for that matter. "I haven't been able to do anything with him since we got back from school," Hilary said, rubbing her back as she slammed the dryer shut. Sammy sat Noah on the worktop, as she had when they needed a serious chat ever since he was a toddler. He sat, swinging his legs, looking down into the checked lino on the floor, refusing to even meet her gaze. "OK, let's have it. Who jumped out at you, Noah?" Hilary crossed her arms and gave her grandson a knowing look. "If you don't tell her, I will." Noah still didn't respond. Sammy's mum tutted. "All right then," she said. "Someone decided to leave the school grounds at lunchtime." Sammy's hands went to her hips. "Noah, you didn't." "Do you want to tell her why?" Noah mumbled something incoherently. Sammy took a step backwards and, mirroring her mother, crossed her own arms. She didn't like to admit it, but the two of them were like peas in a pod. Neither woman was taller than 5'4". Both had tight curly hair and blue-green eyes, and they shared a contempt for lies and liars. "Sorry?" Sammy asked. "Sorry?" Sammy asked, jutting her head forward. "What was that?" Noah sighed and gave in to the inevitable. "It was Dylan. He said he'd seen one on the way to school, down Shoeford Avenue." "Seen what?" Noah wiped his eye with the heel of his hand, still looking everywhere other than at his mum. "A shining man," he mumbled. "You're kidding me." Sammy looked from the boy to her mother, who just shrugged and shook her head. "That nonsense on the radio. What have I told you about leaving the school? What did Mr. Meakin think?" "Oh, he said enough, trust me," Hilary said, before explaining in excruciating detail how disappointed the new head teacher had been. "I don't believe it," Sammy said, running her hands through her hair, still damp from the rain. She stomped back into the kitchen and flicked the kettle on. She didn't want a cup of anything. It was just habit, something to do other than rant at her son. Of all the stupid things to do, a shining man, really? On the 2nd of September 2017, Hooverville 9 will be with us. William Russell, the man who was Ian Chesterton and still is on Big Finish. Carol Ann Ford, Susan, the doctor's granddaughter. Nicola Bryant, Perry. Toby Haydock, DVD extras man and everyone's favourite racist barman. Jessica Martin. Fraser Hines. Jamie. Phil Ford. Michael Pickwood. Philip Hinchcliffe. And Matthew Dale are just some of the names who'll be appearing at Hooverville, the biggest little Doctor Who convention ever. Visit hooverville.org to get tickets. See you then. That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.